Chapter 18. Love between close ages, emotional equality and a shared rhythm. Imagine two people in love who seem to be looking into a mirror of life. They're close in age, share similar childhood memories, and even their favorite teenage music comes from the same era. They move through life shoulder to shoulder, stepping at nearly the same pace. Neither rushes far ahead, neither lags far behind. Each recognizes their own life stages in the other. "I feel that too, I get you completely," they often say with their eyes. Love between partners of similar age has a quiet, profound harmony, like a duet where the voices naturally intertwine in the same key. Have you ever felt how comforting it is to be with someone who speaks your language, not just literally but emotionally? To be with someone who grew up on the same cartoons and hums the same hits you danced to at prom? That subtle kinship creates common ground in the relationship, a sense that we're in the same movie. Of course, true love doesn't care about birth certificates. Hearts of any age can fall in love. But when the age difference is very small, the relationship often starts from a place of equality. Both partners have had time to move through roughly the same chapters of life: school, the rebellions of adolescence, the challenges of early career. Their views of the world were shaped within similar historical contexts. They followed the same major headlines, caught the same jokes and trending memes. This generational synchronization can act like an invisible bond. Even if two personalities differ, there's a shared foundation to build on. It's as if two native speakers of the same language are talking, rather than one person having to learn the other's language from scratch. Communication flows more easily, references land without lengthy explanations, and that "I've been through that too" feeling arises often, bringing with it genuine empathy. Psychologically speaking, love between partners of similar age often brings emotional equality. What does that mean? It means both feel they have an equal say in the relationship, that they stand in comparable positions of power and vulnerability. Neither automatically becomes the other's mentor or parent, as can happen when there's a large age gap. Instead, both play the role of lover and friend at the same time. Important decisions, from which apartment to rent to where to vacation, or when it might be the right time for a child, are made in tandem, after conversations where both perspectives matter equally. When you're in the same age range as the person you love, you're less likely to face imbalances like "I know better, I'm older," or "Relax, you're young, you don't understand." You mature together, learning from each other in a balanced way, like two trees growing side by side, stretching their branches to the same height, offering each other support and shade. Biologically speaking, being close in age also comes with physical synchronization. Think about it. The human brain reaches full maturity around age 25. If both partners are past that point, there's a good chance they've reached a similar level of development in self-control, empathy, and planning. That can make the relationship more balanced. Both know how to handle intense emotions about equally or equally awkwardly on some days, and both have a comparable appetite for adventure versus stability. Biologically, factor in energy and life plans as well. Two 30-year-olds likely have similar energy levels, which means they can keep pace with each other on mountain hikes and during binge-watching marathons on the couch. And if the relationship moves towards starting a family, their biological clocks tend to tick in the same rhythm. Neither feels the desperate press of time, while the other still feels too young for all that. When it comes to children, for instance, a couple close in age may find they want that step at roughly the same point in life. This alignment of desires eases tensions and reduces the need for painful compromises. Naturally, sharing an age doesn't make everything automatically sunshine and roses. Couple compatibility depends on far more: shared values, communication, mutual attraction, and a vision for life. Still, being close in age offers a level playing field. Think of a video game where both players start at the same level. Chances are more evenly matched. Collaboration comes easier, and the challenges make similar sense to both. By contrast, in a relationship with a large age difference, it can be like one person playing on expert and the other on beginner. You can still reach the finish together, but you'll move through the levels at different speeds, and frustration can creep in. So in a couple with a small age gap, when problems arise, they tend to be resolved without one partner feeling they're doing all the heavy lifting, or that the other doesn't get what I'm going through. Both, broadly speaking, face similar challenges: work stress, financial worries, the meaning of life questions that hit at certain ages. These become shared struggles, not solo battles. Philosophically, this idea of a shared rhythm in love evokes the ideal of a life companion, the partner with whom you can grow old gracefully. Philosophers and poets have long praised the love between two people who walk side by side, building a life that mirrors one another's. Think of elderly couples strolling hand in hand through the park. Often they're close in age and have traveled through decades together. You can see how they understand each other with a glance, their hearts beating in near-perfect tandem. That sunset hour synchronicity is built from the beginning, when two young people choose each other and set out with roughly the same age. It's as if they bought tickets for the same train, in the same car, heading to a destination called the future. The train stops in turn at the stations of career, existential crises, achievements and failures, and they step off together at each stop, hold each other's bags, then climb back aboard and continue the journey side by side. A shared rhythm doesn't mean dull uniformity. No, each has their own personality and inner speed. But the shared rhythm of love appears when, despite individual differences, neither forces the other to move too fast or too slow through life. They wait for each other, give each other breathing room, and take turns offering a nudge so the road feels good for both. So, let's see what such a love story between close ages looks like. It's a quiet, late autumn evening. Jennifer sits with her legs tucked under her on the chair, absorbed in her laptop screen. A strand of chestnut hair falls across her forehead, and now and then she pushes it back behind her ear, sighing softly. Across from her, Michael props his elbows on the table, leafing through a few papers with a questioning look. From the sill of the slightly open window, cool air carries a faint scent of wet leaves, and the distant sounds of the city drift in, a stray car horn, the rustle of street trees. Jennifer taps the keys one last time, then snaps the laptop shut and leans back. Phew, I'm done for the day, she says, massaging the back of her neck. I finished that grueling report. You? Do you have much left? Michael looks up from his notes and smiles, weary but playful. I'm almost finished with my presentation too. Another half hour of work tops. You deserve a medal for seeing that report through. Your boss is going to be really pleased tomorrow. She smiles, grateful for the praise. She gets up and heads to the open kitchen. On the counter, a bottle of white wine sits patiently, left over from their last anniversary. Jennifer lifts the bottle gently and glances over her shoulder. What do you say, shall we open it? I think we could both use a glass to celebrate surviving another hectic week, she jokes. Michael chuckles softly and stands up too, stretching to loosen his back. I couldn't agree more. That wine has waited long enough. Jennifer takes 2 glasses from the cupboard and pours the golden wine while Michael comes to stand beside her and switches on the little radio on the shelf. He searches for a relaxing station. A pop song from about 15 years ago starts softly through the speaker, one they both recognize instantly. They look at each other, surprised and delighted. It's the song they danced to together at the high school prom, carefree, back when they had no idea what adulthood had in store. Do you remember? Michael asks, lightly touching her arm. At the prom you wore a blue dress, and I was that shy boy who almost spilled the punch on your shoes. Jennifer bursts into laughter, covering her mouth. God, yes. And do you remember how this song came on, just as I was mustering up the courage to ask you if you wanted to dance? And I was wringing my hands, trying to work up the nerve to invite you, he went on, smiling nostalgically. Michael picks up the glasses and hands her one. With his other arm, he wraps it around her shoulders and gently draws her toward him. Jennifer rests her head on his chest as, softly in the background, the song keeps singing about memories and time. They stay like that for a few moments, swaying slowly, savoring the moment. The lamplight bathes them gently, and their shadows blend on the wall into a single outline. When the music fades, they both settle back on the couch with their glasses in hand. Jennifer seems a little lost in thought, gazing out the window at the city lights. Michael studies her for a moment, then brings his fingers to her cheek, stroking it. "Are you okay? You seem preoccupied." Jennifer sighs and rests her head on his shoulder. "Yeah. I was just thinking about how far we've both come. Remember when we used to dream about our grown-up lives? You said you wanted to work in IT, to build something of your own. I said I wanted to become a project manager at some big company. Look at us now. You really are leading a development team, and today I finished the report for my project's launch." She swirls her glass, watching the liquid move. "Sometimes I wonder, Michael, if it had been even slightly different, how would things have turned out? If one of us had fallen behind or pulled ahead, do you think we would still have understood each other just as well?" Michael smiles and kisses the top of her head. "I have no idea, Jen. I just know I love that we're here together, going through all these stages side by side, that you come home and tell me, all excited, how something turned out at work, and I actually understand why it matters, because I'm dealing with similar things, and vice versa. When I get stressed because some funding gets delayed, you know exactly what it's like, because you experienced it firsthand last year." Jennifer nods, smiling warmly. "Yes, exactly. It's like we're in sync. Look, we're even tired at the same time." She laughs softly, pointing to the dark circles under their eyes. Michael laughs too and raises his glass. "To our matching dark circles then, and to the dreams we're making come true together. And you know what? Let's plan something fun once we get through this madness at work. A getaway just for the two of us, to reward ourselves. Maybe next month, after my presentation and after you launch your project. How about a short getaway?" Jennifer's eyes light up. "That would be wonderful. Maybe we can sneak away to the mountains, to that little cabin we've been dreaming about since last year. Spend an entire weekend with no laptops, no calls from work, just the two of us, a fireplace, and the pine forest. And mulled wine," Michael adds, delighted. "Deal, I can't wait." They both laugh and clink their glasses lightly, as if sealing the promise. Jennifer nestles even closer against his chest, letting the quiet envelop them. They blink lazily, feeling the fatigue but also a deep contentment. Around them, the small apartment bears the marks of their shared life. On the wall, a photo from last summer's vacation shows them embracing, hair tousled by the wind, on a deserted beach. On the shelves, his programming books mingle with her novels and colourful notebooks. By the TV, a half-finished board game from last night waits patiently to be resumed. Every corner tells the story of two young people living their life together, step by step. Michael sets his glass on the coffee table and wraps Jennifer in his arms, her head already resting against him as she nods off. He instinctively matches his breathing to hers, a tender reflex. Outside, the autumn wind blows in gentle gusts, but inside it's warm and cozy. Jennifer opens her eyes for a moment and murmurs sleepily, "Michael, thank you. For being here. For being you with me." He answers in a whisper, stroking her hair. "Thank you too. You should know I wouldn't have wanted anyone else by my side all these years. Who else would have put up with me the way you do?" he adds, jokingly. Jennifer laughs softly, eyes closed. "Well, you're no saint either. But I put up with you because you put up with me. We put up with and love each other, really." "That's right," Michael whispers. "We're a team, Jen. We always have been." A smile touches the corners of Jennifer's lips as she slowly drifts off, lulled by his calm voice. Michael feels her small, warm body nestled against his and relaxes too, closing his eyes. Just before sleep, he realizes once again how lucky he is. His girlfriend is also his companion on the road of dreams and of life, in step with him. The thought brings a deep calm. In the quiet room, under the dim light of the bedside lamp, Jennifer and Michael fall asleep in each other's arms, their breathing settling into a shared rhythm, like a single soul divided between two bodies, resting after a long day. Do you see yourself even a little in the scene above? Maybe you've felt how natural and beautiful a relationship flows when both partners understand each other at a glance and share similar life experiences. Jennifer and Michael's story illustrates in detail the theory we've been discussing: emotional equality and a shared rhythm. Notice how, in the story, the two make decisions together, sync their plans, and support each other equally. At no point do we feel that one dominates the conversation or that one person's needs routinely outweigh the other's. Why? Because their relationship rests on a natural balance. Jennifer and Michael are living through roughly the same things, both have demanding jobs, both are worn out from working late, so empathy comes easily and naturally. When Jennifer sighs, exhausted, Michael knows exactly what she's going through because he feels the fatigue too. As a result, he responds with care and humor, suggesting they take a break and celebrate the small wins, the finished report, the almost ready presentation. This is a wonderful example of mutual support in a couple close in age. Each recognizes the other's effort without minimizing it, because each is going through something similar and understands the significance of the moment. Another important detail is barrier-free communication. In their dialogue, Jennifer and Michael allude to the high school prom and the dreams of their youth, shared memories that bind them and deepen their connection. They both react instantly when they hear their favorite song from 15 years ago. Their faces light up at the same time, a sign that they share that, "Oh, I remember that too." This is the effect of a shared cultural foundation. Growing up in the same era gives them a whole set of common references, from music to events and lived experiences. Instead of having to explain, "Back in my day we used to do X or Y," they can relive the nostalgia of certain times together because how lovely. Those times belong to both of them. That's why their bedtime conversation has no bumps of misunderstanding. The jokes flow naturally, they both know what it's like to have matching dark circles after grueling projects, and their future plans take shape without conflict. They both dream of the same mountain getaway, a sign that their desires for rest line up. Even the way they express affection is synchronized. One says, "Thank you for being here," and the other answers in the same tone, on the same emotional wavelength. It's like a dance where no one steps on the other's toes. If we return to the dance metaphor, here they both know the same song and have practiced the steps together over the years, so the dance flows smoothly. Each can be the other's shoulder to cry on, because both know what it's like to be the one who cries and the one who hands over the tissue. And that creates a virtuous circle of trust. Michael knows that if he falls, Jennifer will catch him. And Jennifer knows the same about Michael. In psychological terms, we could say there's heightened emotional safety between them. They both feel sheltered in the relationship because neither judges from a stance of "I'm more mature, experienced, you're overreacting." No, both take the other's problems and emotions seriously because they can mirror them in their own experience. A subtle but important aspect is the absence of a life stage conflict. In relationships with large age gaps, tensions sometimes arise because the partners are in different phases of life. For example, one wants stability and a family, the other still wants exploration and adventure. In our story, Jennifer and Michael are clearly on the same page. Both are focused on their careers right now, and both are dreaming of rest and couple time soon, a sign that their stages are aligned. When Michael suggests a vacation, Jennifer is immediately excited. There's no discord like "I want to stay home," "You want to travel," or "You're in the mood for fun," "I'm too old young for that." The synchronization of their desires indicates they're at a similar point in life, valuing the same things. Their work matters, but they also want time for themselves. A lovely synchronicity shows up even in their patterns of sleep and rest. When one yawns, the other yawns. It's no accident people say yawning is contagious among those who are close. They fall asleep together, tired at the same time, a detail that, though it seems trivial, once again reveals their shared rhythm. There isn't someone bursting with energy disturbing an exhausted partner, or vice versa. Their internal clocks seem aligned. From a power dynamics perspective, the story shows us something else. No superiority or inferiority complex casts a shadow over their interaction. Remember the scene where Jennifer expresses her doubt: "If one of us had fallen behind, would we still have understood each other as well?" Michael doesn't use the moment to place himself above or to lecture. There are no lines like, "Well, I'm ahead of you in my career anyway," or "You depend on me." On the contrary, his response highlights partnership. "I love that we're going through these stages side by side." This reply conveys respect and appreciation to Jennifer, showing that he sees her as his equal, his companion on the journey, not someone on a lower rung. That makes her feel valued and safe to be honest. In many couples where there are big differences, age, status, the person perceived as the junior may develop insecurities or self-censor for fear of not being taken seriously. With Jennifer, we don't see that. She freely expresses both gratitude and fears, knowing Michael will treat her as an equal. This is the power of emotional equality. It creates a space where both partners can be authentic, unmasked, without fear of judgment. Both want the same thing for their relationship in the near future: more quality time together. The fact that they agree on this immediately demonstrates once again the synchronization of desires and priorities. In real life, these alignments can include major decisions: when to move in together, whether to marry, where to live, how to manage finances. A couple of similar age will typically have similar timelines for such choices. Of course, there are exceptions and every couple is unique, but the general trend is that two people from the same generation want comparable things at 25, at 30, at 40, and so on, which makes life as a couple more coherent. We should also emphasize that being the same age doesn't rule out personality diversity. Jennifer and Michael can have different taste in movies or different ways of reacting to stress, and that's perfectly normal. Equality doesn't mean they become copies of each other, it means they grant equal respect and equal value to their differences. In the story, we see them joking about how they put up with each other's little flaws. The tone is playful, a sign that they know and accept each other's imperfections. That also comes from shared maturity. Being the same age, they've likely reached the conclusion together that nobody is perfect and that true love means embracing the other as they are. It's very likely that over the years they've taught each other not in the sense of forced change, but of growing together. When problems arose, they solved them through honest communication. We can imagine that if something bothered them, they discussed it, because neither had the unilateral authority to impose anything. Thus, their relationship became a space for mutual learning. This is an asset of couples who are close in age. They have the chance to shape each other from the beginning, to become adults together, molding their relationship habits through ongoing collaboration, rather than defaulting to a template imposed by the more experienced partner. Couples of similar age often evolve together in how they resolve conflicts. Maybe in their 20s they would have been more impulsive, but by their 30s they have learned at the same time the art of compromise and listening. If there were a large age gap, there's a risk that one partner would already be set in their way of handling problems while the other is just learning, which can sometimes lead to misunderstandings. Why do you react so immaturely versus why are you so rigid? With Jennifer and Michael, this dissonance is absent. They both respond in similar ways, which means problems are addressed with a compatible style. We can't help but notice the calm tenderness that permeates their relationship. Breathing in unison even has biological meaning. Studies show that when two people are deeply connected, their bodies can unconsciously synchronize their heart rate and breathing. Here, then, is a physiological aspect of harmony. Their bodies adapt to each other, coming into resonance. It's like an involuntary dance of organisms that feel safe next to each other. In age-similar couples who have spent a lot of time together, such phenomena become increasingly likely. Spending decades together, you literally come to breathe in the same rhythm as the person you love. The story shows us what love looks like when two people move through life step by step. Love between peers shines not through grand gestures or high drama, but through those everyday moments of quiet harmony. A late dinner shared, a spontaneous dance to an old song, an honest conversation after a hard day, a plan for the future made with mutual enthusiasm. It's a love in which both partners see themselves reflected in each other, like in a benevolent mirror. They recognize, validate, and help each other grow. That doesn't mean it's always simple. Every relationship needs work, patience, and compromise. But when you set out alongside someone your own age, the road does seem to have fewer sudden bumps. If a hill appears, you climb it together. If there's an obstacle, you both stop to examine it. The emotional equality we keep talking about ultimately translates into the feeling that in any situation we are a team. And that gives the relationship extraordinary strength. Love with a shared rhythm has its own special beauty. It's not necessarily the kind of story they make movies about, all sighs and storms of feeling, not because it lacks passion, but because it's a passion rooted in balance and quiet connection. It's like a slow-burning hearth fire that keeps you warm, as opposed to fireworks that explode briefly across the sky. In such a love, joys are shared fully, for what greater joy than knowing the person beside you truly understands you. And worries are halved because you carry them together. Every success becomes doubled, "I'm proud of you," goes hand in hand with "thank you for supporting me." And every setback becomes bearable, "I'm here for you," comes right after "I've been there, I know what it's like." In the end, loving as equals is about always having an ally who keeps pace with you. And when you find someone who moves at your rhythm, you receive one of life's greatest gifts. Whether you'll dance through the living room to old songs or run life's marathons together, your synchronization will make everything feel easier and more beautiful. You'll grow together, learn together, and transform alongside one another, like two rivers flowing side by side, weaving into a single, stronger current. And years from now, looking back, you'll be able to say, "We were there for each other, every step of the way." That is what love between people of similar age means. Two people, two hearts, beating in unison and building a solid love in which each day deepens the bond and friendship between you. It's a path you walk hand in hand, knowing that whatever comes, you're not going alone, you're going together. And in that, perhaps lies the greatest happiness, having someone by your side who keeps your pace as you write the story of your life together.